Well, hello there on a late Sunday evening. Well, it's early Monday somewhere. So, do we have anybody in here today, this evening, tonight? We'll let it run for a while and see what happens. Kind of hoping my daughters would get in here. Oh, we have one guest in here already. Who could it be? Well, at least I look awake now. Damn. Ugh. On an old, cold, rainy Sunday night. Let's go back down to the small screen. Let's see who's in here. Well, there's one comment. Lenny's Rooms. Hey, my friend Lenny. I'll see on the loose. Well, you'll get over it. It will soon pass. I can tell you about being on the loo. I was really, really sick last week. And I'm alive, so we're back home. This is Alabama. Alabama. Um, I was really sick. Took a load of medicine, stuff to bring myself around. I don't mean, I'm talking about I had snotty nose and coughing and stuff that you get when you're in a cold, wet, damp place. And I didn't go to the bathroom for no, I'm sorry, 6 days. 6 days. 6 days. A couple of days before I left, I didn't go. And then I had to trip back home. So I was a bit uncomfortable. But like I said to you earlier, all things will pass. How about you? How is your December holding up for you? And let me put a link in here so you can you come in and join us. There we go. It's good being home. We had a busy day. We had a lot of stuff we had to unload. I crushed my finger. I don't. I don't think it'll even show up, but I. I don't know if that'll even show up, but it went all the way through my finger. There it is. Hey, Motorbomb. Yeah, you had it right. You was correct. I wasn't going to leave till after the 27th. But so much sickness. Weather was cold, miserable. Angelique, after we got her well, got her over her situation, then I began to come down with a cough. And I just thought, I talked it over and I said, well, then of course my dog got hurt and had to get the dog. I got him down here to the hospital, down here to the emergency hospital in Hoover, Alabama. We got a new little dog. He's 14 years old. He is the grandfather to the dog that passed away this year, Tanner. This is the grandfather. And the father of Tanner is still alive, and he's in Jefferson County. So how is Motorbomb being? How's his holiday? You went to visit the grandkids when I talked to you this morning. How did that go for you? Oh, anyhow, little Theo, he's over laying in the bed, and he's doing really good. He's taking his medicine. All 4 of his feet had to be operated on, and sometimes. Hey, I know who the Angel Face motor rider is. Hello, good to see you again. Yep, I'm happy Theo's feeling better, and he's a little trooper. He had a hard time coming home. He bled all over the truck. We had him wrapped up. His towel got soaked up with blood. But we got him all fixed up now. They surgically removed his nails and went in and fixed his pads. He had three punctured pads. See, you can make plans, and you can only wish that the plans work out. And hello, Toga. Man, it's good seeing you. I didn't get to run across you. I think you got to meet my children out in Washington. Some of them, that's just a little handful of them, but they really enjoyed meeting you folks. My daughter got a big kick out of, everybody, and she got to, I think Dave in Australia was in there with us, and we had a bunch of people, and it was good. Another victim to autocorrect. Well, I hope all of you folks are doing well, and I know you're getting closer. It's we're going to have another Christmas. See, we had one up in Washington. We decorated the tree, and so it could be with the family, kind of like an atmosphere of Christmas and Thanksgiving combined together. And it worked out in such a way that after Thanksgiving, we did get to enjoy the pleasure of the family with Christmas spirit. Well, my sister is not one for tolerating shabbiness, I guess. She thought I was looking a little bit disheveled. This is how she's always basically known me, because I had to work with a corporation that was pretty well anti-long hair. Well, unfortunately, the way it works alone in America, even though I was living in a place where all that stuff is available, and you can have all of it you want, as much as you can afford. I mean, it's not limited. You're not limited to it. You can get everything. They don't put any limits on anything. But one of the limits America puts on other states is it's illegal, and it's a federal law, and we can't have it in Alabama. You go to prison, you'll do a year and a day in Alabama for just a joint. And a gummy, they would beat you to billy clubs and everything. Oh, they ain't gonna allow you. I know. Hell no. When they find out that you're having some fun, oh, that's a bad thing. So they don't tolerate any of that kind of stuff. As old American flag back there. Somebody asked me if I was at home. I said, "Well, you see my flag, don't you?" So what I'm trying to tell you is I had to go through 3 inspection stations. And they got these big ferocious dogs. They got them in like a kennel area. If I'm elected, I will make sure every American has a chicken in the pot. Potluck lunch. Yeah. You got to go through these inspection stations, and they break out the dogs. And they find that one little gummy in there. Woo! Ooh. I would not want to go to penitentiary for the pleasure they give you. They do give you a lot of pleasure. Now, we only bought the good stuff. I mean, they had some, it ain't like that stuff you buy at a service station. It says taste is almost like TCP or TCP, THC. But anyhow, it would be nice that, you can get, like, say you walk up there and you say, I'm having trouble sleeping at night. Oh, we got just the one for you right here. This little raspberry delight right here will make you sleep for 5 straight hours, and you'll love life. Okay. I have a little bit of pain in my legs and kind of a little bit of arthritis. I thought, for the arthritis in the legs, you'll need this huckleberry pie. It's the very best right here. And then they got one for everything. Oh, I feel like my liver is out of place today. Oh, we have what you call the liver adjustment. That'll be the coconut cream. Yes, the coconut cream. You'll need the coconut cream. Now, if you take a coconut cream and one of the raspberry pies and take one and put it on the armpit and hold your arm close together like that, it will cure almost everything in your body. This is surefire cure. But I kind of like smoking cigarettes. Do you have any of them things called joints? Oh, yes, sir. We got you 180 pack, a little jug of 180 little joints in it, 180 already rolled. It's from Pakistan. It's Pakistani Kush. You don't even have to roll it. You just light it. They got it's like a dream store. You go in there, oh, yes, sir. We got stuff right here that will absolutely cure the gout. It will make your hair grow back. It'll give you a new love life. This stuff right here, when you take this one, the sweat from your body will firm up your mattress. You'll feel so restful once you take it. Yeah, 180 pack. That's a jug about this big around, and the joints are all around the thing here. And yeah, I'll take one of them 180 packs there. But I have bought some of those, but here's the deal. I'm surely they must have a machine that rolls them, because I could not think that I would be smoking a joint that some person over there had just been picking up camel dung, roll my joints for me. All American takes, ooh, this good joint. I like the way Dave does it. Dave just takes a paper, takes him a little pinch and puts in there. There you go. Then you're ready to go. I'm gonna have to back up on the drug talking and stuff. I'm not a druggie, and I don't peddle drugs, and I'm not pushing drugs or nothing like that. But you know, back in the Western days, they had laudanum, which kind of like it was an opiate that gave people relief. Oh hell, they went after them. Oh, them Latin, them people there taking them drugs and stuff. But sometimes I believe people forget the fact that they don't mind taking aspirin, Tylenol, all that kind of stuff, to relieve a headache. But if you could just eat a gummy and it made you have an overall quality of life, what is wrong with that? I mean, tell me. I've looked through the Bible. I've read the thing 2 times all the way through. And many times I went and referenced various chapters of the Bible. I can't find anything in there that tells me I'm going to burn in love like a fire for enjoying life. No. People forget that. They set the rules. They set the rules on how we're going to live as human beings. Yeah, I know there's people. Look at this. How many of your grandfathers died from the addiction of smoking cigarettes, cancer, stuff like that, or your grandmother, or many of your relatives? I've had many relatives. Mine died from throat cancer, had the throat taken, had to have a hole put in their throat right here so they could breathe and all that stuff. And that was a gift God had given man, the cigarette, and he could just smoke them suckers, and he could smoke them to die and wasn't even against the law. But if I take a gummy that's going to make me feel good, no, that's bad. Oh, no, no. Oh. Well, let me see. I wouldn't want an Afghani to spend on your pay. Oh, yeah, this I roll cigarettes. I did it. Well, we had some good. I gotta say, we had some. Oh, I know. There's probably a scripture right there about me drinking. The way I look at it here, I love the Bible in this part. For every negative thing you ever hear, if you just take the time and go read it, you'll find that's only their interpretation of negative. The interpretation is in the eye of the beholder. He will interpret. And let's just say that I did things that was against the rules that was laid out by God. Are you going to go to hell for my actions? Why should you worry about it? Let that be my burden. Words, people get off on the right way of saying things. Well, what are you doing? You're working. What kind of work? You're working on Sunday night. I'm hoping you're doing something that you're enjoying doing. Because I'm going to tell you, I spent 30 years with a company that I loved dearly. I loved going to work. I loved the people I worked with. They loved me. I'd go in. We had a great time. We had it was just like a party. As soon as we walked through the door, the party began. I spent 22 years on second shift just to be with my buddies. We were motorcycle riders. We were go-karters. We were race car drivers. We was a lot of things, and we enjoy going to work because when you get down there, you got all these friends that work at the same company that enjoy some of the same stuff you do. And yeah, it was a party. Oh, let me tell you, I spent 6 hours at the hospital yesterday. Not this little baby here. Come here, little baby. Theo, my dog, had to have surgery. He had these ingrown toenails, and what happened when he eventually jumped out of the pickup truck down to the ground, and it curled the toenails back into paws of his feet. And so we had to take him down there and be with the people at the hospital. It took him 6 hours. There was 6 hours in surgery doing his work. And when he woke up, they brought him out. There was the most kindest, gentlest people. I've never been to a human hospital that treated the family as decent as these people at the animal hospital. They respected the little animal. I've got a workup sheet on my little animal that is so thorough of everything, all the blood work, all the kidney analysis, all the stuff that they did, all that stuff had to be done. My God, they just give out. My dog has better, well, I have to pay for it, of course, but my dog has better medical than I do. I have insurance, lots of insurance, and I pay $300 a month for my insurance. And I don't get nothing out of that. I go up there, they give me something twice a year. I get medicine twice a year, and that's it. I don't, what I'm saying is they just don't, and it's not geared up for, patient treatment. It's geared up for, make the money. But the people at work, like yourself, and the people that does this kind of stuff, my God, what a job you do. I'm just saying this about my dog. I know you're treating human beings, and your people that you're a supervisor over are treating human beings. But I just wish they could convey that same sort of warm, fuzzy feeling that I got yesterday from the people that respected my dog. They treated him like a little son of mine, rather than a little overweight, obese, furry thing, pushing him around or nothing. No, what wonderful care. So your occupation is to be commended. The work that you people do. I ain't talking about the system, the medical system. It kind of sucks, but you'll find some really, really warm people. I did. I met so many nice people. There was a lady there. She's a department head over FEMA. And she had a schnauzer, and the schnauzer had gotten into some stuff, and it had to have it had been in the hospital for I guess a day or so, and she come to pick it up. They called and said the baby would be ready to go, and we got to meet her. What a wonderful lady. And then she was telling me about taking olive oil. What else did she say? Take olive oil and something else to pickle jalapenos in. Jalapeno pepper. Put olive oil and, gosh, I wish I remember. What another oil? Olive oil and vodka. She said use Absolute vodka, and you pickle the vodka. His name is Colton, Colton. Motorbaum Colton. Well, see, his master that had him for all of his life, he died here. That's Joyce's husband. He died, and his last name was Cole, so they named the dog Colton. And he's a loving little animal. He's nothing like Tanner. This dog here is the grandfather to Angelique's dog. And of course, Angelique's dog is gone. And this little animal, I've been up to Washington many, many trips, and every time I went to see Joyce, Craig, her husband, would meet me at the door with Colton. And Colton loved Craig more than any other human being. It was his dog. They spent years together. And when I came up there, it come running over to me, and it wanted to be it wanted me to hold it. And oh, Robin, he's listening to music over there. To music. Anyhow, he wanted me to pick him up and hold him. So he's going blind. You might be able to see his little cataracts. He had little gray spots. His little eyes are. He's blind and he's deaf. And he's got good little teeth, though. His little teeth works really good. But he's got a little old grouchy old man's bark. That's the reason we get along so good. Him and I are two old men. He's not quite, see, he's 14 years old. But the little guy wanted to go home with me. And so when my sister, right towards the last, she said, "Do you want to take Colton home with you?" I said, "Oh, hell yes." And I mean in the word hell in a most pleasurable sort of way. And he can talk to you when he wants water or when he wants anything. And we buy. Oh, Looney checked out. Looney checked out. Okay. Oh, well, there must be something going on here. Let me see. I'm not in the loop. I'm not in the loop. I haven't been in the loop. Let's put it that way. Um, hey, retired rider. Oh, look at hello there, buddy. I'm hoping you're enjoying your Road King. Was it Road King? No, I don't remember what you. You got a nice bike in here. You will enjoy that. I saw Jim riding the other day, and it was really cold and foggy. It looked really. Oh, bye, Looney. If you're leaving, buddy, I didn't know. I am not looking at the comments. I should be reading the comments, I guess. If Angelica was in there, she could read the comments. Well, I'm glad you did get a chance to ride it. Before I went to the hospital yesterday, I went out there and I was going to start my Harley up, but it turned over 2 times, and I thought, well, no, that's just too hard on the starter. It was really cold, 20-something degrees, and so today we spent the day doing stuff, getting the house back up running, and so I didn't even put the battery tender on it today, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. Anybody wishing to join in, you can hop in anytime you want, huh? I came on later this evening here because I thought maybe, I saw Looney Shrimps. He was in here. I thought some of the other Australians would be in here also I haven't talked to Rod B, I guess maybe one or two times since I left. And so I thought I'd catch up on some of the people in the other parts of the world too. I was on live for 3 hours this morning. That's right, you guys are an hour ahead. It's already 11 o'clock back there, so yeah, y'all ahead of me, I think. I know Motorbomb is. When you're traveling around, it really does get confusing. Like how many people 3 hours this way and 2 hours back this way and 5 hours over yonder and 12 hours over there. And to try to keep up with all of it is pretty intense. Oh, you got to see some of that. Oh, that's right. You was going to see your grandkids this morning. I didn't see any of the family members in, but this being the weekend, they probably had things to do and things that they had to take care of. Tomorrow, I got to go to the vet tomorrow. Take Theo over there. They got to take a shunt. He's got where the shunt's in his leg. They got to go take that out. And they got to rewrap his bandages and stuff. Do whatever they got to do. I got a picture. I ain't going to put the picture on there. His little pad. What happened is sort of gangrene set in where that one toenail had curled back up into his foot there. It lost most of that pad. And I don't know if he's going to lose the other pad or not, but they'll take care of him. Well, Toga, have you been keeping everybody on their toes? Not letting them get away with anything? Good mountain water. It's raining here now. I believe the temperature is, it finally got up above freezing. Let me see what it is. It's 52 degrees. Oh, wait a minute. Got to correct itself. It's 52 and raining right now. What a pleasure that is. Because when it was raining in Washington, it was 32 to 35. And here it's 52 and raining, so that ain't bad. Okay, I'll make sure this is, there we go. Oh, Toga, that'll be, it's already 7 in the morning there where you're at. It'll be nice to lay down and be able to go to sleep. Last night was the first night. Was it last night? Oh, I got into bed at, was it last night? Yeah. I got into bed about 12:30 last night after we come back from the hospital. And I slept from 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning till I think I woke up. It was 7:20 or something like that. So yeah, I got a real good night's sleep. Yeah, the road was long. Seemed like the road just gets longer. Maybe I don't have the patience I had a long time ago. But when we left out of Flagstaff, I've already repeated this to some of the folks earlier. I asked Angelique, I said, have you ever pulled an all nighter, where you, for 24 hours, not just overnight? I'm talking about 24-hour run nonstop. She said, no. I said, how would you feel about doing a 24-hour nonstop? That's what it said. In other words, 24 hours to get from Flagstaff, Arizona to here in Alabama. And she said, if you can do it, I can do it. Well, I did it, and so did she. But every once in a while, she would start to snore over there, sitting right next to me. And when you're riding with somebody and they're going, and you're thinking, oh my God, if I could just close my eyes for a minute. Yeah, Angelique, she laid down this evening after we got the truck unloaded and all the stuff we had, all the clothes that we had to bring all that stuff in and do all the stuff we did. She laid down over there this evening. I slept for about 2 hours, so she got herself a good nap. Kind of got caught up. Well, like I'm just rambling along by myself here, but anybody that wants to join in, they're welcome to do so. I did have me a nice refreshment. If I can hold it where you can see the label. These lights just they don't do much for labeling. And it's a Yuengling. Hey, Joyce. Well, I was on this morning and never did see any rest of the family member, but I'm glad that you're in here tonight. Um, I was just catching up these guys of all the stuff that was going on the road, and the highest gas we saw was 649 in California just before you get into. We stopped and had breakfast over in Needles, California. Well, actually, we was not in Needles. We were in a little town just before you get to Needles. I was a trucker and I drove many years, and I did solo runs for a long, long time. And when I could get away with it, I would run a lot of hours. I'm not one for ever needing a lot of sleep. Um, but we stopped over in this little town and had breakfast. And right there at the Shell station, at that little town, and this little town, what a historical little town, and I'd be on the east side of California, right there before you get to Needles. Wish I could remember the name of the place. But I saw the advertisement on the side of the highway. It said the name of the town, Cafe, like Ludlow Cafe. I'm just making that name up. I can't remember what it is. And they've been in business, that station's been operating since the days of Route 66. Chances are I'd probably already stopped there many years ago. Oh my gosh, they serve such good food. And yeah, they serve such good food there. And oh man, we had a good meal. And anyhow, at the Shell station, $6.49 a gallon. Um, so we left there, and I mean, I'm low on gas, but I knew my warning light had not come on, and I can do 50 miles after the warning light comes on. So I let it. I just kept moving on. The warning light finally, it came on, and then I stretched it on down there across the river, and I stopped at the Flying J truck stop across the river in Arizona. As soon as you come into Arizona, I stopped at the at this Flying J truck stop. $1.99 a gallon for regular. $1.99. I go, oh my God. And it wasn't just there, several other stations around. $1.99 was the standard price. And then when we left there, the next tank went up to $2.49, which still ain't bad. Went to $2.49, and it stayed pretty well between $2.49 and $2.79 the rest of the way home. Now, when we was coming home now, I filled up in Arkansas. I filled up just as I got in the state from Oklahoma. When I crossed the Arkansas state line from Oklahoma into Arkansas, I filled my truck up, and then I drove all the way down here and got up, and the fuel light came on before I got to Jasper, Alabama. But I was not going to stop because I was almost home. And we got up, and when we went to the hospital yesterday to take the dog to the hospital over and fix his feet, I drove over to the Shell station in the Marathon station in Warrior, Alabama. And I filled the tank up, and I've got a 28-gallon tank. Listen to this now. I put 28.89 gallons. That's like 28 7/8 of a gallon in a 28-gallon tank. Now, I'm not saying their pump was a little bit off, but I'm going to just tell you how empty I was. I was running on fumes. 28.89 gallons in a 28-gallon tank. I've never done that before. And that was good. All the gas up through California, I had to fill up 2 or 3 times in California. See, when you enter into California from cross out of Oregon, coming down on I-5, it's 800 miles from the time you hit the border till you get to Bakersfield, 800 plus miles. So that's like 2 tanks of gas. You have to fill it up a couple of times. And they love their gas up there. Oregon was a little bit better. Washington was still, I think I paid like I don't know, Joyce can tell you, whatever it was, whatever the gas is selling for. Um, so anyhow, it's just odd how one Shell station can sell it for 6.49 and just 50, 60 miles away sell it for 1.99. Hmm, it makes you wonder. Let me read the comments, see what I missed out on. Trust me. Oh, you got a wrench. Well, do what you want to do. you're a it's, any decision you make, I'll agree with it. That's be fine. Yes, it's nice to have the VIP treatment. We have been afforded that before in several occasions. Oh, oh, come here, buddy. You know you can't be in his bed. Come over here. Come here. He went over. He's trying to crawl in the bed with my Theo, and Theo's like, "Get on out of here." Oh, okay, Angel Face, you got a question? Let me hear it. Not this motorcycle. Remember, we lived in Washington for 40-year area, but we did ride our bikes into Canada. And back in the days, you didn't, as an American citizen, you didn't have to do anything. They just show your driver's license, and you could go across the border and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, when we lived up, I rode my bike all the time in Washington. When we lived up in Seattle, I lived in the suburbs of Seattle, and I would ride my bike down to where I worked. But yeah, biking is beautiful up there in British Columbia. Especially if you go to Eastern Washington, what we call it the Omak country, Okanagan. Over in Okanagan, oh my God, what a beautiful place to ride! You got mountains and you've got great riding, beautiful roads. Yeah, that my little buddy Theo. Where'd you go, buddy? Theo was running away from his bed. Oh, now let me see. I don't know if you'll be able to see him over there, but Theo. Well, look at him. I'll show you that. There's Theo right there watching TV in front of the fireplace. Theo, hey Theo, say hello to Motorbomb. He said, "Hello, Motorbomb." I need I need sympathy. Can any of y'all see my finger? Oh, you talking about whining? Dang, I whined over that right there. I, oh man, that bone. You cannot believe that little finger is thin. I have little fingers. But that thing right there, whoo, she Theo, he gets wherever he goes, people love him. My sister Joyce, she loved him. I mean, she cared for him. She'd make sure she would take and grease his little sides and push his little ass out that doggy door, And we got I think Motorbomb, you might have seen the video. Angel Face, if you want to see a cute video of my dog Theo, um, if you go to my Olmax website and go down there and look at the short and look at Theo going through the doggy door. Oh, by the way, I got to tell Joyce this. Theo is obese. They did all that blood work and all that kind of stuff, and I read the whole thing about what all they did. He weighs 23 pounds, not 19 pounds. I was preaching at 19 pounds. He weighs 23 pounds. And they used the word obese. Theo is obese. Oh my God! I used to fly. I flew from Seattle, Washington, in a Cherokee aircraft, a plane called a Cherokee, 6-passenger, and we used to fly to British Columbia and go to a lake called Lake Tasunia. Lake Tasunia, if you look on the map, it's more over towards Alberta, but it's up above it is Williams Lake, and they have the Kamloops. The Kamloops fish there. Kamloops are like 30, 40-pound trout that had been to sea. They come back like steelhead. But the Kamloops are huge fish. And we always went to Lake Tasunia because, you could catch, all the fish that you caught, the Canadian government, we was VIP people for the Canadian government, they processed all of our fish for us and air dried them, processed them, packaged them for us, courtesy of the Canadian government. And we'd load that airplane as much as we could. I believe we could bring home 300 and something pounds of fish. And God, oh my, what good eating. So on the way back, and let me tell you about the way in. So we're flying up there, and we stopped at Rivers Inlet. Rivers Inlet, if you look at that, that's over right up above, that's over by Vancouver in Canada, over there by the water. Yeah, that's what they call the port of entry for aviation. You got to fly into in there and do your paperwork and everything. So while we was there, we loaded up with Molson Canadian beer. Molson Canadian beer, and we loaded up with them. And so I was with a guy named Floyd Prater, and his son was sitting in the back seat, Floyd and his son, and I was up there with the pilot in the front. And so we were drinking these Molson Canadian. When I got my third beer, we popped the top on that third beer I had in my hand, and the pilot says to me, "You shouldn't drink that." And I said, "Oh, are there an FAA rule says I shouldn't be drinking?" And he said, "No, you got 4 hours of flying time." "Oh, we're men, we can handle it." Yeah. You can't tell me how to drink, I can handle it. Well, about an hour later, Floyd says to me, "Hey, Mac, where is, do they have a porta potty in here?" I asked the captain there sitting right next to me, I said, "What do you do when you got to go pee?" And he said, "You just have to hold it." And I said, "Well, he's really got to go bad. I can hold it." And he said, "Well, look under your seat, and there's a garbage bag under your seat. There's a roll. Pull out one of those garbage bags, hand him a garbage bag, and then you can tie it up where it can't leak and everything, and you just have to set it in the floorboard there until we arrive." So Floyd peed like a racehorse back there. And his son right next to him, he peed like a racehorse. His son, like 18-year-old boy, and he peed like a racehorse. Now they hand me this bag. It's got 1.5 quarts of Yeller in it. And I bring it up here, and I set it in the floorboard, and I'm fixing it, was going to tie the top in it, and I go, "Oh my God, hearing them peeing really made me want to go bad." and it was sitting there on the floorboard, and the waves. We were going across the 13,000-foot ceiling. We had to cross over. There's a little gap that you have to fly to get over into the Rockies there. And we're up at the 13,000-foot level, and that plane was doing this. It was porpoising because of the high thermal winds and all that stuff is rising up off the mountains. And so I thought, well, I got to go. And he's sitting right there, I go, buddy, I hope this don't bother you. But so anyhow, I sit there, and every time I'd almost get it going, that plane had dropped 500 feet. Well, now, you being a guy, you guys, not you, but the ladies there, but the guys know that ain't good for a guy. It was an awkward situation that all of a sudden he would shoot up in the air like 500 feet. We were just riding the waves, going across that little gap. Oh my God, when I got finished, well, I got this wave just rolling back and forth down on the floor, and I finally got the thing tied up. And it was just like a black gob just floating back and forth down there on the floor. And just as we crested over the top, the door opens up. The door where I'm sitting, it went just a little crack, but it was just roaring. And I tried every way. He said, no, you can't shut it. He said, and what happens, it kind of warps and distorts the body from all that rolling. The wings get to moving like this, and it pull the latch apart, open it. So we got to Tasunya, and we looked down there, and the runway is a dirt runway going downhill. You have to land on this slope. No, boy, Angel Face laying down the rules there, buddy. If you want to see me, get your ass on up here. Kind of like that. That makes people go outside their boundaries, and see some other things. Anyhow, we had to land on this dirt runway, and we got landed, and he got out his little toolkit and fixed the door so we could latch the door back again. And then we had so much fish when we went to leave. We was up there for 5 days, courtesy of the Canadian government. And we sucked down all them cases of beer. But we got all now, instead of loading a cargo of beer, we got a cargo of fish. So we take off down this dirt runway, downhill. We were flying downhill, and at the end of the dirt runway, there's a 300-foot vertical cliff at the end of the runway. No beating around the bush there. I like that. So I know I stretch out when I'm telling a story. I read stuff and then that come back to it later. But so we're climbing out, and they put a line. They call it the rotational line, a point of no return. Once you go over that line, you're either going to take to the air or you're going to die. Whichever fate has for you. So we're rolling down there. We're in a bush plane now. This Cherokee 6 is all outfitted with stalls, short takeoff and landing. And when we got to that line, we're only doing like 55 or 60 miles per hour because we're so heavily loaded with fish. And I looked over there, and we ain't even left the ground yet. And I could see the end coming up. I went, whoa, now, now them boys in the back, they can't see what's going to happen to us. So finally, just as we went over the edge, it's like flying off an aircraft carrier, we went off that edge. I looked back in the back, and there was 2 little windows right behind where the back seats are back here. I looked behind, and we had dropped when we went over. we went down maybe 25 feet below the crest of that bluff. I could see the ridge up above. I had to kind of look slightly upward to see the ridge. And then the big old motor came in, the big old 6-cylinder engine started pulling us up out of there and pulled us up out of the trough. And so we got back up to the gap where we had to climb up to 13,000 feet. And the radar quit. It just quit. And the pilot says to me, he said, "We're in deep doo-doo." I go, what is wrong? He said, "Well, we can't land in Seattle. You have to have you can only land with the radar. We got to go to an international airport like SeaTac, Seattle Tacoma International." I said, "Well, what's wrong with that? That's only 30, 40 miles away." He said, "Your car is parked down there in Seattle." I go, "Oh yeah." He said, "We got to load all this stuff and we got to get a van. We got to do, he said, this is going to be an ordeal." So he had to call and talk. He got on his radio and arranged to have some kind of people to meet us there at SeaTac Airport. And then they fussed and grumbled about all that load we had loaded up on the airplane. Well, Angel Face, did you ever tell these folks about the Calvary Stampede? Have you ever tell them? If you have never, I don't know I know you probably have, Angel Face, but if you ever seen the Stampede, and I'm talking about, we saw it back in the 60s. Now we talk about the new modern, where society won't allow you to be cruel to an animal, and because when them Indians come down off that ridge, the Calvary Stampede, and you're competing against American Indians of various indigenous folks there in that area, and they're hell bent for leather. They don't know no fear. They come off that, and the horses will trip and stumble and roll 5 or 6 times and breaks the horse's neck, breaks their legs, breaks their spine, busters their bodies all up. The Calvary Stampede is a sight to behold. Tell him, am I telling it wrong, Angel Face? I know you're probably a lot younger, because in the 60s I was already a grown man, and to see the Stampede, it was a big event. We used to go to the Pendleton Rodeo. That's a big event too. And all them riders from up there in Canada, up in Calgary, up in that area, they would come down and go to the Pendleton, Oregon Pendleton, Oregon Rodeo. And them guys right there, they was hard to beat. They could ride any bronco. They're just savages. I'm telling you, they was the savages. But you got to keep in mind that Pendleton, Oregon is just right across the Columbia River, and you got the Yakima Indians sitting in there. My brothers, man, my Indian brothers, they don't know any fear. Oh yeah, it's not as bad now because they put humane guidelines, and they started putting rules and regulations in there. And the way it was before, Motorbomb, is you have all these riders up there, and when a signal went off for them to go down off the face of this in the Stampede, there was no rules. You just rode till one of you died, the horse or you, or maybe both. I may be over dramatizing the whole thing here, but that's the gusto that they put into every ride. Oh, he's going to bed on me. My God, my story was just getting started. Motorbomb, I'm so happy you come and join me tonight. That is true. It is humane. If you love your animals, which we do, and see the cruelty of man with a beast, this is not right. then again, you say to yourself, when you watch two men in a boxing ring beat the other's brains out, splatter his eyeballs, and tear his lips off in his face, and bust his nose, and all that kind of stuff, that's pretty cruel within itself. But hell, I love every minute of it. Well, he lives way over there. See, it's already 11:35 over there, and it's just getting. We're just now getting started over here. Motorbomb is one of them kind of guys that I think he's kind of like a perfectionist, and he can't. I don't believe he can withstand too much imperfection. And so when he watches you for a little while, it don't take long. He can come in and when you're making a whole lot of poor decisions or not, 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 not up there where you should be, he's the guy that's going to help you out. Yeah, you've got a lot of people there, but you didn't have that many people. You've grown just like Seattle's grown. When we got to Seattle in the mid '60s, in the mid '60s, we got to Seattle. It was a little town. You could go all over the place. You could walk anywhere in Seattle. But now you got all kinds of rapid transit. You've got just overflies and circle bouts and roundabouts and clover leaves and it's just a jungle. I ain't kidding. And now in the Seattle area, there's over 2 million people in the Seattle area. Yeah, the Stampede was so popular um, that people came. We came all the way up from California and went to Calgary. We went up there to the Stampede. We went up at Omak. See, we went up through Highway 395, I believe, out of Spokane. We went up through there. Oh my! And the people. Oh! I met some lovely folks there. Ooh, yes, I did. I mean, I met some really beautiful women. There's some beautiful people live in Canada. Their skin is so pretty. You know, they got. I think it's the cold air, and they don't have. I mean, you don't almost never see acne or anything like that. It's all nice, clean skin, crispy looking. Um, we when we come up out of California, we was like crusty old duffers. We'd been out there in the desert living in Mojave and San Joaquin, and so we were out there in the sun, and we were like sunbaked, and we'd get up there in Alberta. We get up in there in British Columbia, especially. You go way up into British Columbia, up around Williams Lake and stuff like that. Man, it's like a different world altogether. It tends to happen when you've got a great place like where you're talking about there. It's going to be overpopulated because the word of mouth gets around and what a great place to live, how good the people are. I found them to be really good people. But I find good people everywhere. I when I got down here to Alabama and I started driving a truck after I retired, I started driving a truck over the road. And they posted a job for me to go to New York, and I was so excited about it. They go, "Why are you so excited about going to New York?" I go, "Man, I just love New York." And they go, "What?" I go, "Yeah, I do." They said, "We hate that place. We hate everything about it." And so every time a New York trip or Connecticut or somewhere like that would come up, I would take the ride. I used to haul up to Albany and Altima, New York. As I used to haul electric motors up there, and oh, I've met the nicest people. I mean, just I'm talking about good American people that loved life and was courteous and polite to one another. Now, New York City, we hauled to Staten Island. We hauled loads of steel to Staten Island. They was building new terminals there for the ferries, and they was really rude people, because I couldn't understand what they were saying. Most of them, they was talking with that New York accent, and but I didn't hate them because they sounded different to me. But it was just more difficult in the city of New York versus up in Altima or anywhere north of New York. Yeah, a lot to be said. Oh, well, you have political strife in Canada, or, as we perceive the Canadian government, we see it as some kind of a political strife. But the thing is, it's your political strife, and people try to make a big issue out of how the government of Canada is run, and they want to, try to change American people. I'm talking about, wanting to interfere with the way Canada is run. I mean, those people basically they have a government, and they work and support the system, but they don't sit around and talk about it a lot. Down here in the South now, you got to be either for this person or against them. And if you're against them, everybody else hates you for being against them. There's no middle ground where, I'm American and I went to war for you. I love the flag, but you have to be of the right persuasion. If you drift anyway, one side or the other, just a little bit, they can denote just if you're a little off center a little bit, if you're leaning a little bit too far to the left, whoa. We want on them damn liberal ways down here. Y'all keep all that liberal bullshit up yonder, smoky joints and itchy gummies, and we want to keep it right here. No deviation. You don't go either way. That's just the way life is here. All right, so we move down here. We buy this beautiful place here. Got lots of land here. We're not one for going out and socializing a lot with neighbors. My neighbors have their lives and I have mine. But a lady came over and met us, and she had her husband with her, and she introduced herself and she introduced her husband, and my wife and I was standing there talking to them. And the lady said, "What church do you go to?" I thought, well, that's kind of an odd question to ask, because what difference does it make? She said, "Are you going to church at all?" I go, "Oh, yes, yeah, we do go." She said, "Which one do you go to?" I go, "Well, we go to the Methodist church." "Oh, hell. Hey, did you say Methodist?" I go, "Yes, ma'am. We went to the Methodist church." She looks at her husband and she says to him, "Mr. McNeil," she said, "we will pray for you." Oh, I had chose the wrong church. See, the one up on the hill was the Baptist, and everybody else is going to hell. There ain't no return for you. You're gonna burn, boy. You sons of bitches, you're gonna go to hell. So that's their conviction. They believe that everybody else less than a Baptist is gone. Catholics all gonna burn in hell. Them damn Jews, hell, they're all dying right now. That's a horrible thing, So you got to choose your right church. So we got off on the wrong foot, and I can tell you, we're coming up on. See, we've been here 25 years. I've never been in any people's house here. I don't go visit, and I'm not an antisocial, but I don't want to get involved in people's business. If they want to rant and rave about their church, that's their business. If they want to rant and rave about politics, that's their business. But I don't have to be a part of it. There's a lot of ranting and raving. And they get all puckered up about stuff. And they'll take a source of news that is geared up for one thing, is to get your attention. News, we keep it all turned off around here. We going down the road, going to Washington and back, we never listen to any news. We're not into any form of news. Reason being, it's all bad news. It's not like me sticking my head in the sand, but the fact remains, they make money out of selling bad news. The worst and gloomy. And they pitched a story for years now, for the last few years. Oh my God, the economy is so destroyed. We don't have a chance. There's no way you can live in this economy. It has got to come to an end. That's horrible, I tell you. But you get out on the highway and look how many 35-foot motor coaches running down the highway, 40-foot motor coaches, fifth wheels, 30, 40-foot tri-axle fifth wheels running up and down the freeway, trying to loosen their load, just heading on out somewhere. Stopping and buying $6 gas. It don't bother them any. But they'll have the right to tell you right off the bat how horrible the economy is. But if you get out there, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Honey, I want you to turn the heat off right there. Thank you. That is only my perception, and I speak of it freely because I'm doing it. I've been out and I've seen the stuff that goes on across the country. And you go to, let's say, Golden Corral. That's a buffet thing. You can find them across America. You go to Golden Corral, you can't get a spot to park it. That's $15 to $20 per person to eat. It's, you can, if you and your woman goes there, you're looking at $35, $40 to have dinner. And the parking lot's full. You can't get in. See, when we came up, if you had a pound of butter beans, you could eat 3 or 4 days on a pound of butter beans. And we never complained about the economy because we were alive. And yet these people can afford to go eat out 3 nights a week and go golf and go run their race car and do all those things, and yet tell you how bad the economy is. They are to shut the hell up and just enjoy their life and quit whining about everything that's so goddamn bad. It is good. And that's my pet peeve, people that want to create a phony situation of how bad things are. Somebody have told me, though, they said, yeah, but you've got a retirement. I earned my retirement. I worked for it. Nobody gave it to me. I earned my education. I didn't get no free education. My sister, if she's still in here, she might be, I've already went to sleep. No, it's early there. She earned everything she's got. She got a lovely place. She's got lovely children. And they earned everything they've got. Nothing was given to them. None of our family inherited anything. My family left us nothing. I'm living on a plantation, 630-acre area here. That was part of our family. My last relative to live on this land, she passed in 1929 out there, right 400 feet from my back door here on this land. But before the Civil War, this all belonged to another family. But when the Civil War ended, our family that lived across the creek, they came across, they got married and came over on this side of the family. So the elders Their last name was Moore and ours was Turner, so it was always, this land was always a part of the family. But my grandmother left. They left and went to Jefferson County. They wanted to be a part of the coal mines. Was really influenced a lot of people. There was money to be made in the coal mines. There was no money to be made in picking cotton. This was all cotton country up here, and they went where the money was at. And what I did when I got out of the service, and my sister sitting there, and she can tell you I did this, and I went west because the only choice I was going to have here in Alabama was to work in the coal mines or work picking cotton or working in the timber, So I went to the West and I earned my living. As soon as I got it earned, I came back to my land where I was born and raised. I wasn't born here on this property. My last relative, other than dying, that left here, which was in 1898. 1897, because my uncle was born in 1899. I returned to this land 100 years later. I was the first of my namesake because the one that lived out here, she had a last name of Moore. By this time, she had married into the Moore family. She was Turner by birth, but ended up being a Moore and died out here. So I was the first one to return back to this land here in 100 years. So I earned everything that I have, everything that I worked for. It was nothing. They didn't leave me nothing like, oh, here's your share. I didn't have no share. So, and that is also maybe a part of attitude, because if you go around people a lot of your relatives and they're not doing well and they talk about how hard life is and everything, I think a lot of people are aware of that and then they begin to feel like things are really bad. But if you just look and see how people are living today compared to the way we lived in 1940, my mother would wake up. She would go into the kitchen and she'd have a cup of butter beans. My mother would boil them butter beans, knowing that she had 6 children to feed. I'm number 3. I was a third child. What my mother would do, she would go over there and make up some dumplings. She'd roll out the dough and she'd make butter bean dumplings. And we eat butter bean dumplings. We eat fried taters. That's the kind of stuff we had. That's what we loved. Oh, hell, I love it today. In fact, my sister and I was going to have butter beans when we was up in Washington, but I left too soon. In the 1940s, we had a great war. I was born a year and a half before the Great War, World War II. I was born before the war. I was born before the transistor. I was born before all these things that everybody enjoys today. We had, here in the Southeast, we had rations where you couldn't get sugar because of the war. You couldn't get coffee because of the war. You had to have coupons. You couldn't buy meat. You couldn't buy a lot, even if you had the money. And my father in 1940 was making $1 per day. We ain't talking about $1 an hour now. No. We're talking about an all-day work in a coal mines for $1. $1. That's, look here, hell, I got shit that's laying around over here. Can't reach it. So, all right. They went on a strike when the Korean War, after the World War II was over with, the coal mines went on a strike for 3 years. and they raised their wages up to $5 a day. But it cost a lot of men's lives. Men were killed over money right here in Alabama because the coal mines you always bought the low in Alabama. They bought the low. The coal mines company would buy the low. And what happened, the cops would beat the coal miners and break their hands and break their arms and break their feet, because when they're on a strike, that cost the company money. So they would lean on the police to do their dirty work and beat them up and do stuff like that. We have a little town, my sister's sitting here, she can tell you if I'm telling the truth or not, little town called Brookside, Alabama. When in the 40s, we'd have to go over there and get my daddy out of jail in Brookside, Alabama, because he was in a group of 5. During the strike, you wasn't allowed to assemble. It was against the law, and the law would beat you and put you in jail for assembling. You had to have a permit to assemble, and they wouldn't issue a permit. Because see, if you've got 4 or 5 people, you can have a coalitions of thoughts, and you can deal with the company by planning on what your next move is. And that's the reason they wouldn't let you gather up. So they would arrest everybody, put them over there, and you'd have to go over and pay money to get them out of jail. It was a small amount of money, but the thing, they would hold you up, and they wouldn't allow them to go to a union meeting. They would beat them. They did not want them to. The coal mining company did not want the worker to be organizing. And there's a guy named John L. Lewis. Look his name up, John L. Lewis. John L. Lewis was near of a God as you can ever get in a human being. John L. Lewis came down here in the 40s, came here in the Appalachian country. And he told the men, you make the company what it is. They go, what? Yeah, your labor is what's making the company wealthy, and you have a right to get a little bit of that wealth. Well, we're getting $1 a day. Yeah, but you actually probably could live better if you had $2 a day. And they started organizing people, and the union moved in. And of course, the company spent a lot of money. They had these bootleg thugs that would actually beat you down to the ground for being a part of a union movement. And I'm going to show you this, Angel. Let me see if I can do this here. Can you see these? See what it says right here? Union Stewart. See right there. See right there, all these from the union. That picture was taken in 1980. And these are all my service awards for all the years serving the company. So I'm a real strong union supporter, and this is union busting country down here, and they don't even want you to talk about it. They'll attack you. They'll do whatever it takes to make your life miserable. And that's how they did my daddy in the 40s. But see, I'm a heavily armed individual. They don't attack me. Yeah, that's the union membership. Union, that was me. I was a union steward, and I was proud of it because I helped to inform the workers of their rights under the contract. Now the union would negotiate a contract with the company, and it's up to us as union stewards to make sure that the contract was complied with, and we did that. But the 40s was the beginning of organization, where a lot of things would begin to get organized. If you remember, by the late 50s, you had the farmers organizing. You remember there was a Mexican guy, I think his name is Chavez or something like that. He helped organize the farm laborers, so they would make a decent wage. And they tried to kill him in so many ways. They did everything to try to kill him, cast him off as a non-human being and all that stuff, because they just wanted their fair share. And 40s was a hard period of time, the decade of the 40s. I lived through the whole thing. I was born June the 30th, 1940. And we got through the 40s. Then, of course, you've got to keep in mind a lot of uneducated people worked in the coal mines. Because see, your labor, you could always count. Your body never let you down. It was strong, and you could dig coal, and you could shovel coal, and you could do all those things, you know. Even though a rock could fall and crush your head occasionally, that's none of their concern. It was how much coal you can produce every day that was the only concern they had. My daddy used to get paid for every car of coal he would load it with a shovel. He'd shovel it. And when that car went out of the mines, he's deep down inside the mines, he hung a tag that had his number on it, and they would take the tag and hang it on his account so that make sure that he got paid for every coal car that he loaded, shoveled every day. And yeah, so people should just quit whining about how hard it is. If they just open up the book and read about John L. Lewis and what he did for the American people. I met him in person in 1949. I was 9 years old. Yeah, I met him in Blossburg, Alabama, John L. Lewis. Like I say, he was a god to us. He was the one that pushed education. He forced the state of Alabama to educate people against their will. Alabama was anti-education. And if you look at it, it's quite a bit that way today. They would like to drop education entirely, because who in the hell needs education? Religiously speaking, the ministers for thousands of years read the Bible to people. There was no Bible. They read the scriptures and stuff that they had collected together. And they basically told you what was in there, and you was uneducated, so you couldn't read the book yourself. And when John L. Lewis started talking about education and getting past the third grade and stuff like that, and people started reading, they started opening up the book, and then they said, "Wait a minute, sir, you're telling me this, but right here it says right here in the scripture right here." I go, "Yeah, but I'm the preacher and I know better." But when the education started to creeping in, people began to get really nervous because, you don't want them to be smart. If they get too smart, they begin to get uppity. And one thing you don't want to have is an uppity worker. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good for money. It cuts into the profit. So anyhow, 40s was dismal. We went through polio and all the things that was killing human beings. And they was also preaching anti-vax back during the days when they was doing the polio thing. The federal government had to make the state of Alabama to administer vaccinations. Like, oh no, we don't do that kind of stuff. If the Lord wanted you to live, he wouldn't give you the disease. Well, that's like blaming the freeway. If you went out there and stood in the middle of it and an 18-wheeler hit and run over you, it was meant to be. So, yeah, we got through all that. Then the 50s roll around, and oh my God, in 1953, you begin to hear people making music that wasn't about pain and suffering and sorrow. It was happy. It was music about love. It was music about enjoying life. There was a guy that had the nerve to wiggle his hips on the Ed Sullivan Show called Elvis Presley. And they said, if you listen to that damn Elvis Presley, you're going to go to hell. That stuff is a God-forbidden music. And only heathens will listen to that kind of heathen stuff. So we were rebellious. By 1953, I was 13 years old. I had ducktails, wore my hair slick. I was a greaser. I used to have black hair, and it was black and greasy and shiny and slick back and ducktails in the back. The worst sort of human being. And I also roll my cuffs up on my pants. And oh my, no, not my, let me, I roll my cuffs under, folded them under rather than on outside. And that was a fad that was going along then, oh, you're a rebel for sure, we're doing that kind of stuff. We started rebelling in 1953. We, as American citizens, whether you're from Alabama or from Connecticut or California, there was a rebellion across the land. We started our rebellion in the 50s, and all of a sudden, by 1960, we started rebelling about the norms when it comes to sexuality, free love. You could love a woman and not have to be in love with her. You could make love to a woman and not have to marry her. You could do whatever you wanted to do, whatever the couple wanted to do. You could listen to the music. You could drink you a little bit of champagne and ripple, or that's what old Red Sanford would say, champipple. Or you could Annie Greenspring or whatever wine you like to drink back in the day, Boone Farm. And so the 60s was a musical rebellion where people wanted to hear more in their music than some whining song about sorrow and pity and sadness, and he's going to hang in the morning, and he cheated on his wife, and oh, I went to prison, and my dog got hit by a truck, and so it started changing people with the music. Maybe it was a godless-like sweep across the land where we started rebelling against the kind of music that was force-fed us year in and year out. And then by the 70s, our clothes began to change. There's my buddy Ray right there. I saw you this morning, and I went and looked at a video that you did. It was a little short. I went and made a little, I think I just maybe tagged it. But Ray, I was so happy I could. And my sister said, she called me, I was talking on the phone while I was driving down the road, and she said, Ray Gregory's on. So you have fans across the land there, Ray. You might not know it. I'm sure you do know it. But you got fans across the country that as soon as you came on, my sister said, Ray Gregory's on. And you've never even met her other than just being on TV, on the screen there. But the clothing in the 70s, we had already won over America with the music. And we'd already started changing things to fulfill the needs that we had as human beings, with the free love and fly our children and all that stuff. And then we started wearing clothes with bell bottoms on them, plaid pants with bell bottoms, corduroy, leisure suits. Oh my God, I had so many leisure suits. I had one for every occasion. You can't even buy a polyester leisure suit anymore. So we rebelled against the clothing and started actually bringing color to America. And we also began to see less color. I mean, a lot of us did. Some never made the transition. In other words, when you saw a crowd of people, you had to start singling out them people versus those people, and I don't deal with these people, and I don't have nothing to do with these people. And all of a sudden we begin to be like humans. God had given life to so many different types of people. And when he was a child, when Christ was a young man, he was raised up amongst every kind of human being you can imagine. The Roman soldiers, you had gladiators, and you had all kinds of stuff going on. People, all different kind of people there. And never once did I read anything about him hating anybody. the Prince of Peace. And we found peace. We found peace through the freedom of just changes in the music, changes in our clothes, changes in the attitude of, yes, I am important. Yes, I do work for the company. The company has a right to exist, but so do I. Ray, I've been just rambling along here for quite a while. Well, an hour and 40 minutes. That ain't long by my standards, but we got to just, and there's only like 4 people in here, but I don't ever command a big audience. I don't like the Sermon on the Mount. I don't have a huge audience. Oh yes, I did know people that drove vans. In fact, we bought a van in 1957. That was in the 50s. Yeah, we bought a van in 1957, Chevrolet. My dad did not have a car. We walked everywhere. Walking was a way of life for us. But when I got up to be, I think 1953, 13 years old, 13, maybe going on 14, my brother, he bought a car. He worked and bought a car. And my dad and him shared that car, but my brother bought the car. And it was a Hudson, a green Hudson car. Oh, the HHR. I just saw one tonight at a custom car show right here on the TV that they had took the HHR and completely modified the body to look like a 1953 Buick. It had the Buick grill in it, but it was an HHR. And then I have a friend that's a ham radio operator. He's a black guy. He has an HHR. He's got something different now. He bought him a new Dodge Ram or whatever, but he had an HHR that was a pretty good little car. Oh, Ray, buddy, I'm wishing you a good evening. I hope you get rest. Oh, let me tell you, Ray, you're going to appreciate this. I didn't go to the bathroom for 6 days. 6 days. I couldn't. I was backed up. Oh, was I ever backed up? But it's all over with now. We got that took care of. Yeah, that's right. 1940s. They did that purposely. It was to bring back that feeling. Yep. Yeah, it's a nice little car. I've never owned one, but I see a lot of them. They were quite popular. But anyhow, we got through the 70s. Clothes changed, and of course, as you know, there had been a war going on. Oh, the 60s was the music revolution. Where we begin to see the long-haired people starting to show up in America. You had a lot of, by the 60s, you had a lot of long-haired music groups. And yeah, I do too. I listen to all classic. I love classic music, classic rock and roll, and yep, I really enjoy that. I really do still today enjoy that. Yeah, the 60s was a beautiful, 60s was a good time, except there's a horrible thing, a war had to be done in Southeast Asia. And 68,000 Americans, plus a lot of Canadian folks, died in that 10-year involvement. So it was a tragic 10 years in the 60s. But while the tragedy of Vietnam was going on, America was changing. While the boys were overseas fighting, America was changing. When they got back home, there was flower children. There was music in the air. And there was a let's get it on attitude. You know, people wanted to live. But we got through the 70s, the 80s. The war ended in the 70s, Vietnam did. And of course, we got into the 90s. And then, as you know, the Middle East flared up there. And then by 2000, 2001, we're heavily involved in another war. And it really, a lot of people suffered, still are suffering today from that war. War is hell. I myself trained to be a soldier. I wanted to be the perfect soldier. I went to military school. I wanted to know how to be a soldier. And the 80s, we got through the 80s, the 90s, you know, we had another war. Then the fear of the millennium, the change in the year 2000, all the misinformation that was given out, oh, what a tragic world we're living in. All of a sudden, everything's going to collapse on us. Then sons of bitches that put all these computers on us and all that. Oh, bullshit. The computer is probably the best thing that ever happened to the world. More power in this phone right here than what the astronauts had when they went to the moon. My sister wears a watch, a Swatch or whatever she calls that thing. They wear every one of them's got them watches that's got everything on it. Everything in the world known to man on that damn watch right there. Got more power than the men that went to the moon. The computer has brought us this right here. This is a chance for you and I to have a sit-down chat. You and I, and plus everybody else that might be listening tonight. There's not very many people in here. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, as they say, I've used this term many times, parting is such sweet sorrow. So, all the misinformation given out about the millennium, it didn't occur, planes didn't fall out of the sky, life didn't come to an end, and blah, 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 all the phony crap that was passed out. I had relatives stocking up on food so that when this whole system collapsed, they'd have food to eat, pork and beans. God Almighty, have mercy on them. So here we are, 2024, approaching 2025, not knowing what the future is going to bring. But it's up to each and every one of us to bring a good future. Keep our minds clear. You know, Y2K was a scary thing for so many. It wasn't for me. I was in the computer field by that time. My job involved all that stuff. I was in what they call the 3D world. Anyhow, it's up to us to make it as good as we can. Hey, Dave. There's my buddy Dave right there. I watched you on a video this morning, Dave. I watched a lot of my friends on videos. Between the times we was unloading the truck and doing all that stuff, How long has it been since I showed everybody my finger? Boy, that thing is a throbber. Let me tell you. Look at that puppy. Well, I'm glad you're here, Dave. Angel Face, she's moving out, heading on. Time is up. She's off work, and maybe some of your folks will come in here. I saw Looney Shrooms was in earlier, and it was good to see it. Let me put that. I'll stick a. Let me stick the invite. Oh, I don't have to do that. I can do it right. Whoa! What the hell happened there? Let me do this right over here. There we go. Now, see, I do listen to you there, Dave. You mentioned about that old disheveled guy over there that looked like he should be sleeping under a bridge. There he is. I hear you knocking, buddy.
Hello, 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 hello.
Look at you all dressed in Australian clothes, with the arms hanging out and
30+ degrees here, some ridiculous. But
trying to get a little air circulating.
Oh, trying. How are you, mate?
I am so good. It's unbelievable how good I am at this point. I told you the story about my little dog. He had to have surgery yesterday, and Theo, we put him in the hospital. Yeah, he's laying over on his little squishy, and he's happy as a little. Oh, I got to give him his medicine.
Okay. I'm glad I came in. I'm really glad. Tell Theo I'm glad I came in.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you're here too. But it just dawned on me I've got time to give him his medicine. See, I got some cheese. My dog cannot resist cheese.
There you go.
And I'll wrap his pills in the cheese here.
And he can't resist.
Oh, he'll gobble that right down. I'm thinking.
Yeah,
you can see it's a piece of used cheese, so chances are I can get all of his little medicine down him in one swallow.
Good.
No, don't go away. We'll keep talking. I just want to do his medicine while I'm thinking of it.
I'm only here for a minute. I'm getting hungry. It's lunch time.
Oh no!
I'll need my lunch. Don't know what I'm going to make. Maybe just a ham sandwich.
I got to make sure I'm giving him the right one here.
Yeah, don't give him a gummy.
Yeah. Let me see. Give him one every 12 hours. Yeah, that's it. All right, so he gets one of these. You know what I'm giving him right now? It's called gabapentin. It's called gabapentin. Now, what gabapentin, as far as human is concerned, they give gabapentin out so that you can rest at night. If you got restless leg syndrome, stuff like that. Old guys, their old muscles gets bound up and everything. You take gabapentin at night. I don't take it, but I have taken it, and it really gives you great relief. Well, this makes my dog sleep so well. When he gets that gabapentin in him, he'll be sleeping 15 minutes. He won't know where he's at.
God bless him. Theo.
Oh my! And you saw my new little dog, didn't you?
No. That's all right. In time.
Where's my little? Oh, he's right here beside me. I couldn't see him. He's right here. Come on, little buddy.
Oh no.
His name is Colton, and he's the grandfather of Angelique's dog named Tanner. Tanner has passed away, but this is the grandfather of Tanner. And when my sister, his master, Joyce's husband was Craig Cole, and he named the little dog Colton after Cole last name. And So he's been missing his daddy. I'm telling you, he's been missing him ever since he's been gone. And as soon as I got to her house, he came to me and we've been best of buddies. And now he come home with me and he's living right beside me.
Oh,
He's,
you're back at home.
I'm at
You're
home. Look at my leg, man.
Oh, look, you're at home again. I thought you were still in Washington.
No, when we just made the decision to come home, my dog was bleeding real bad. He cut his
Yeah,
feet,
yep, yep, yep.
toenail, and so we brought him back home because I knew my vet. He's always treated him all of his life,
Mm.
and but I got home and the vet could not see him because they were booked up. So I had to take him to an emergency hospital in Hoover, Alabama, 44 miles away.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
I can just imagine it. Yeah, okay.
yeah. But what price can you put on your animal, right?
You can't. There
Look
is
at
no
your
price.
look at your road king. Look at your back there. If you see an accessory that won't make it run any faster, it won't give it any better fuel mileage, but god dang, does that thing make you feel good when you see it on there? You're going to
You,
get that
you,
accessory.
you just get it
There
without
ain't
question.
nothing to go.
It's already
You're
on
going
there.
to have that's all. That's how all bikers are. I don't care how well your bike is running. You're going to get those accessories
That's
as they
right.
come up, and that's the same way like my little dog is.
That bike ended up costing me 40 Australian, 40,000 Australian. But the accessories cost another 20. I ended up leaving.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
ended up leaving the shop with the $60,000 motorcycle. But
That's right.
I've never had a $60,000 motorcycle before, but I have one now. But I tell you what, it ain't worth 60,000 anymore. But it was a nice thing to do, you know. Look, I worked hard my life for it. Why Dern will not?
So
I do.
how much pleasure, what is the amount of money could you attach to the amount of pleasure your bike has given you over the years that you've owned it? All the beautiful rides you've been on. I know that it was hard riding. I mean, long miles like you did, but the thing, look at the pleasure. You got to meet so many people on the road. You had a cause. You was working, you was working on
Yeah,
that cause, and
yeah.
at the end of the day, you felt damn good about yourself.
Nothing's changed. The cause is still. I was strangely enough, we were talking about the cause. I was on the phone to the company today, and they were unable to process my question because of strict Schedule 8 laws here in Australia. But we managed to get the right direction of where we can get the answer for the question through my own uh, general practitioner. He has a little bit more um, sway and weight than I do. I'm just a patient. But they were very interested in talking to me about how when I go out in regional Australia and I meet people of, you know, different degrees of suffering and say, have you tried medical cannabis? And then they go, oh, no, the doctors think we're just junkies or drug addicts or anything. I go, I
Yeah.
understand that. Would you like to consider contacting these people? And the company themselves thanked me greatly. They said, and it isn't about profits. It's about, you can see where somebody needs a care and you're offering a solution. So yes, my little bit of ambassador sort of work more than anything. Anyway, it's good to see you. I'm heading out again on Thursday across our country there. Um, there'll be many, many videos to come. I won't be doing as many lives anymore, but because I'll be on the road. But we'll touch base on cyber world. I'm going to slip out and make some lunch, but I just wanted to quickly come in and personally say, to you and Angelique, Theo, and now Cole. Is it Coleman? The little
Uh,
dog's called Cole.
it's Colton,
Colton.
Colton, Colton.
Yes, of course. That's a very strong southern name, isn't it, Colton?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. My
it's a
God.
southern name. I wish you all the best for your festive season. You'll all do it down in Yeah, there he is. Oh, God.
He's sitting right next to me. He goes, no, man, you ain't no way you're gonna escape me.
No, no,
Uh,
good.
let me. If you got a minute, I'll go over and see if I get him to eat this piece of cheese,
Yeah, do
and
it.
I'll be right back while I can thinking of it.
No, no, do it because he needs his medicine.
Go on, buddy. Here we go.
And how's everybody going on in the chat? I have no idea who's in the chat. I can't see it, but I can sort of bring it up here. YouTube. I know I still am in StreamYard, but if I do this and press the mute button,
See, I
I
told you
should
what
be
to
able.
take long. Go
Angel
ahead.
Face is a nice girl, isn't she? She's a very nice girl. Very respectful young lady. Is Angel Face.
Did you see what she said about the motorcycle when you mentioned $60,000? She was talking about said my little Honda, which you might have seen, was only $3,000. So she thought 60 was a pretty good chunk of money.
But
She
you've also got to remember, I've had probably 30, 30 or 40 bikes that were all under $1,000. And, they were in various states of disrepair. So I've done my fair share on affordable motorcycles. Um, but none of those bikes I would be confident about taking across the country. This bike, um, more than confident. That's what I guess you pay for, and it's a beautiful thing. Yes.
let me say
Anyway,
bye to Ace.
okay. And look, I'll be back. I'll be keeping you in the background while I make my sandwich because
Yeah, good. Yeah,
I
so,
haven't I haven't eaten anything today, and I'm fading fast.
Angel Face said, Dave, you've earned your $60,000 motorcycle.
You're a good girl, darling. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've also got another one for 24. So just that's $80,000 worth of motorcycles. Jesus, on paper, but certainly, certainly not. They're an asset, really. They're so, and I ride them, and I ride them every day. I love the bikes, as do you as well. You enjoy your motorcycles.
Oh,
Uh,
heck yeah.
And what did Paul's Motors then commented? Looks like you have some nice ponies in your stables. Take care, Dave. Right. Dog gave me a heart attack. There you go. And then you're here, so and Sterling Wheel. It's a great little community. Did Theo chew down his cheese? Theo chews down his cheese.
Angel Face is fixing to clock out, so she's heading out. I was reading a comment over there, Dave.
That's all right, mate.
And as you know, if you want to get a track, model track, you're talking about many more thousands on top of that because they don't give them things away.
No, but they're
Because when you get to the age where you need a track, they know you're going to pay anything you can pay to get one.
Yeah. She hasn't been doing much work listening to your stories. I think she's another hooked audience member. I think old Mac, who who'll be uh, who'll be listening to your stories with gusto. So I've put the pen to paper. I've written the first few lines about the two American military cowboys back in the 1950s who had their hearts set on getting to California. And I think that at least the chorus goes, but don't worry, Floyd Potts and Jerry are here. Floyd Potts and Jerry are here. So, yeah, I'm penning a bit of a song about your story. So I made a bit of a song about it. I hope
What
to have it recorded soon.
what a prayer, what a prayer it would be that you do this thing and you somehow you get it out and it's picked up nationally. And Floyd Potts, it'd be like 86 years of age. He sees it. He says, he's talking about me.
Wouldn't, wouldn't that
Whatever.
be? Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing? Um, Certainly not doing it for that, but then things that we do online are serendipitous. They are very serendipitous, old mate. Anyway, I'll be lurking. Anyway,
All
so
right.
that's the latest.
We're going to stick around for a little while and because I'm feeling really good. Oh, the dog, the cheese, he just sucked it right down and he's over
Yeah.
there. He won't wake up till tomorrow.
What you want,
So,
because your body heals when
go,
you sleep.
go make you a sandwich.
Okay, mate. See you soon.
Well, um, well, we're down to two people, me and somebody else. No, there's two, not counting me, because I'm the host. I'm the hostess with the mostest. Well, I'll take the time to put my badge back up over here. I only break that thing out when I get patriotic about what it was like to organize labor in America during the times when you could be killed for doing that very same thing. Because it was a real challenge to make the companies pay a fair wage. And as a union steward, we spent all them years up there as a union steward. And I would tell every one of them low-lifers, the low-lifers that come to me whining and complaining about the union. At the time when I was a union steward, it was $42 a month for your union dues. And them low-lifing suckers would whine and cry about paying $42 a month for the union dues. And they were getting $5,000 a month for wages. So, ain't that odd? And my daddy never whined at all, and he was only making $1 a day. And it went on a strike to raise the wages to $5 a day. And had his head beat in, and people beat him for even mentioning the word union. But that's all a part of Americana. As time goes by, people will be reading about this. If they're allowed them to have books, they're trying to ban books altogether. I mean, that's a rumor. If they ban the books, well, then people will never know about it. But this young lady right here, Angel Face, will know what I told her about the 40s and the 50s. She can convey that to other people and say, I remember an old man, 84 years old, was telling us a story of what it was like to be there. I have no motive. I have no reason to tell you anything other than what I'm telling you. I have no reason. There's no motivation. I don't get politically paid for political statements. I don't get paid for none of that stuff. That's just, I would not accept pay. I don't accept pay. But I would like for the people to realize what it was like for those periods of time. I look back on my life as being a beautiful life. I was married to a lot of really good human beings. I was in a position to be working with some brilliant people. I got to speak to Stephen Hawking. I got to shake Dwight D. Eisenhower's hand. I'm Forrest Gump of StreamYard. Life is like a box of chocolates. Well, if I had a fiddle, I would play a fiddle for you. But if I had a fiddle, I wouldn't even know how to play it. So wouldn't do no good to have a fiddle. You get a line, I'll get a pole. We'll all go down to the crawfish hole. Jerry, you can be so funny at times, but I understand what you're saying. I lived through it too. Lived through it too. BYE, bye. Oh, well. I you can add and inject. You can inject humor and anything. For instance, this little piece of cheese right here made the medicine go down. See, he's already had his 2 dose out of this piece of cheese, and he'll have enough for in the morning. So, with humor and comedy, you can soothe the feathers of people that are irate about so many things that they only took a breath, they wouldn't have to worry about being irate about it. Because life is good, and as good as you make it. You can make it, you can sit there and worry about every raindrop. You can sit there and worry about, what if the earthquake gets me? Or what if there's a tornado going to wipe us out? What if the bank collapses? What if the air begins to taste like gravy? Every time you take a breath, you're like, oh, it'll taste like gravy. I mean, there's a lot of things, ifs and buts. Take a deep breath and you go, actually, I'm inside. It's not raining in here. And I'm secure. As many guns that I got around here, you don't ever have to worry about anybody breaking in. I pity the fool. Joyce, I know you was there because I was there when you was born. I didn't remember you being born, but I do remember your birth. We was down in Pumpkin Center. And I remember the road that went by Uncle Oscar's house was the main road that went down to the coal mines. And yep, I remember. Then I remember Robert being born really good. He's 4 years younger than me, but I remember his birth really good. And I remember Connie's birth, of course. So I know you was right there. And Joyce, your life might have been a little bit different as far as being female versus male. Not a whole lot now. I'm not saying you had a life of leisure. What I'm saying is your approach to life might have been a little bit different than what future we had, as far as, we knew that we'd never marry a beautiful man that was going to provide us, of all kinds of security and stuff like that. We knew that our quest would be, we'd have to find a nice lady, someone you'd love, someone you could bring children forward, and then you're going to have to take the responsibility of raising all them and do whatever you had to do. Of course, you as a woman, you had to give birth. I didn't have to do that. So your story and my story are going to run parallel as far as the way the times were, because if it was hard on me, it was hard on you, Joyce. But I do remember going to Easter service, and my mother would have your clothes all starched up, our mother, and decorating for Easter was a big event. And I remember she made you a little yellow dress. She got you a little yellow dress, got it down at the commissary in Blossburg. And that little yellow dress, you looked like a little Indian papoose with that little yellow dress on. Uncle Belton always thought of you as a little papoose. And see, I really, truly, I don't make light of our lifestyle. We had a hard life, but you can't dwell on it. I don't dwell on it. I look at it. Somebody asked a question what it was like in 1940, and I could not be sugarcoated and say, oh my God, the 40s were just beautiful. No, when somebody asked you how was life in 1940, they want to see both sides of it. What was the poor sides of it? What was the really beautiful part of it? What was really great about the 40s was you was born, Connie was born, Robert was born, and you guys are all alive. That's the beauty of it. Mother's gone, but she brought forth children that is carrying on. And you have children that are carrying on. You're going to be with your son in a week or so. So we all have so many things to be thankful for. People just don't want to stop and be thankful. They want to be critical about what he said or what she said or what that politician said or what that preacher said. Yeah, all the good things, all the good times. There's so many good times we had. You yourself know we had some good times, even in the hardship of California after I got out and came to the West. Um, Life was hard in the 60s. You know, it wasn't hard for everybody, but it was harder for some than others. Now, it wasn't as hard on us as it was maybe some of the indigenous people or whatever, people that didn't have the opportunities we had, even though we were dirt poor. We were wealthy in the fact that we kept our bodies clean. Our mother insisted that we kept our bodies clean. And we also kept our children clean. We didn't allow, you know, how them to be just squalling and wallering and stuff, So that all came from our mother. So we have so much to be thankful for. And you know it as well as I do that we both give thanks. We both give thanks for the hardship made us stronger. And a lot of times you can feel sorry for yourself and say, well, I wish that we didn't have to have it so hard, but that was then and this is now. What we got to do, any moments of hardness that we had, whatever tragedy we had to suffer through during those period of times, we got to compensate for it by finding that spot of sunshine. Dave will be back in a minute. He wouldn't make him a sandwich. I bet he's going to have a spam sandwich. No, both of them, he loves spam. A lot of people in the world love spam. And that case of spam, we got a case of spam. It will be gotten into pretty soon. Because tomorrow, we got to go to the vet tomorrow to have his feet taken care of, get the bandages off and change them and see how it looks under there. And then we got to go shop. When I got home Saturday morning at 4:30, when I drove down the driveway, 3 or 4 raccoons run right in front of me. It was like big old gopher rats, raccoons. And the cat was sitting there by my tower, was sitting there. Oh, I think she said bye. So I might be sitting there talking to myself. I see she said bye. I think she didn't put a comma enough and it said, I'll live through it too, bye. Okay, so maybe I might have been just talking to myself. So it don't matter. Well, if nobody comes in, I'll end this at midnight. Uh, Been a long day. We got up early this morning. I'll shut it down at midnight. Nobody don't come in. I need a clock ticking. Keeping time. Well, my dog is all asleep. Life is good. You about ready to go to bed, little Skeeter? He's laying right here ready. He knows if I head that away, man, he is ready to go. Well, it shows there's two people in here, and I don't see anybody. Hello, little buddy. Come here, little buddy. Come here. Come here, little buddy. Huh? Come here, little buddy. Well, looks like the party is over. Looks like the party's over. At midnight, I'll blow the whistle. Better quit that before YouTube writes me up for making excessive noise. Well, I'll go ahead and sign her off here. It's no, I'll leave it. I said I was going to go to midnight. I'll let it go to midnight. Well, I think I'm going to sleep good tonight. It's raining, 52 degrees. Okay. I will be back. Sayonara. Hasta la vista, baby.